Hey there, Hushpup here, and today we're going to be looking at some cool behind-the-scenes stuff for Gardens vs Graves and what might appear in the future. To start, let's go over some features that were added recently that you might not have been aware about, which includes a brand new leaderboard, kill feed, and a much improved end-game score screen. The kill feed was replaced as it was one of the oldest elements in the game, still remaining aside from the radar and the old score screen. The kill feed didn't really scale very well on mobile, and it would often drift to the middle of the screen and take up most of the space, so this thing had to go. The new one is much simpler and cleaner, as well as being placed in the top right hand corner of the screen. This was made possible due to the new leaderboard, which I'll get onto now. We didn't even have a custom leaderboard before, we just used the default Roblox one. Having a big leaderboard like this not only allows us to get rid of the default one, which situated itself in the top right hand corner of the screen, it also means we can add more stats to it as well. In the new leaderboard, you can very quickly and easily see who's on which team, what class they're playing as, and how many eliminations that they've got. Currently the score value is not actually being used, but it will be made available in the future in one of the next updates. You can also see your per round stats as well, which is good, such as your current eliminations, assists, deaths, damage done, and healing done. It's still very much the first iteration of it though. The future updates for it will include things such as making the score value actually mean something and be tracked on the leaderboard properly, as well as later on mimicking some of the features of the default Roblox one, as right now you can't click on any of the players on the leaderboard to report them or block them or add them to your friends. It would be good to re-add those features back into the game. Lastly from these is the new end of round score screen. This one is much cleaner compared to the messy blues of the last one, and it's also much quicker as it doesn't take up as much time at the end, so you can spend more time doing stuff in the lobby if you wish. The breakdown of your sun tokens earned is much clearer compared to the last one, and it only has one experience bar. Which brings me into the next point, and that's class leveling and experience has been removed. This feature confused a lot of people, as they thought that levels meant you'd get more power instead of it just being some sort of stat tracking thing. It was intended to be if you had a high level bean shooter, for example, you played that class a lot, you liked playing as it, and you put a lot of hours into it, and you can say, hey, I'm a level 100 bean shooter main, and they'd be like, oh wow, I've only got him to level 15. But since most people that play Roblox are younger kids, they thought levels translated to power when it didn't at all. So the first change to be coming soon in the future will be the removal of the free cam. Currently, controller and mobile players don't even use this, so they won't notice a difference, but the free cam is just the default one you use on Roblox. The game actually has inbuilt first person and third person cameras, so those options will be made the default for PC players in a later update. Aside from zooming in with the free cam, you can currently use those on PC by pressing the C key, which will change your camera mode to third person, and then pressing it again will change it to first person. The Outbreak Survival mode has been disabled for improvements, but will be brought back again in a later update, so shouldn't be gone for too long. So some other upcoming improvements to the game include a new morph system, which doesn't really change anything on your guys' end, but it allows me to more easily create new characters or edit existing ones, as well as making skins. Currently for the zombies it's a very complicated process because using a very old style of morphing, I have to have two separate characters for each zombie basically. Gotta have one for the visual model where I'll use that to make pictures or just to see how it looks when it's all assembled, and then I've got the one which actually is used as the morph. As you can see with the regular zombie, it's just a floating head, because that's all we need. The other information such as its t-shirts and stuff are stored in a module script somewhere else, and that information is then fed into the game to morph your character. But the new system, I'm hoping to just have one model, and it just reads everything off the model, and then applies that to you. So that will be coming very soon. In fact, it's mostly completed. It's already being tested, and part of it's been integrated into the game already. The new one also allows me to do some pretty cool stuff like having different sized characters as well as mixing R6 and R15, although I probably won't be using that for this game. I've also been working on trying to improve the weapon code in the game, more specifically in regards to barriers and team doors. It works like this in the current game as well, but here I'm using the new raycasting API, which makes it a whole lot easier to organise these types of things. Unlockable hats as a cosmetic item will be a feature in the future. This feature won't replace skins, but since a lot of the skins are just hats already, it made sense to add this as well. It is also one of the primary reasons that I was making the new morph system, as it can handle adding hats to your existing characters a lot more easily. Being able to buy classes in pairs will be an option soon. This means if you want to get, for example, the sniper class on the zombie side, as well as the one on the plant side, instead of having to save up sun tokens and buy them individually, you'll be able to get them together. It makes more sense that way, as, aside from how they look, both classes work exactly the same on either side. By the way, most of these things were already made publicly available in the Hushpup Studios Discord server. There's a link in the description, so you're welcome to join. For those of you that like to get early access to view features or previews, there's a self-assignable beta tester role which allows you to access these special channels. So this is the server where I'm trying out some other new features that are coming soon, one of which is the player manager. What is a player manager, you may ask? Well, it's a special kind of system which will manage all the various states that your character or class will be under, such as different status effects like speed boosts, stuns, as well as other various things like multiple health bars. I'll demonstrate some of the features and things this will allow me to do. Let's start off with speed boosts. We're going to walk over to one of the timed speed boosts to start with. This will give us an increase in speed for 60 seconds. Then let's walk over to the speed down debuff test. As you can see, it correctly handles both having a speed boost and a speed debuff together, meaning that the player speed currently is at 24. After that has ended, it's gone correctly back up to 32. And then later on, when this expires, he'll go back down to 16. Let's show another example. Here we're going to go over and add some speed down stacks to ourselves. What does stacks mean? Well, it means that the more we touch it, the more it happens. So we can see our speed is constantly decreasing. Now let's head over to the speed up boost and we can see that it correctly sorts itself out. But what if we also walk over to the stun block? Even though we've got all these speed up and speed down effects, we can't actually move for a few seconds. And that's because the stun is taking priority over the other two effects. After that's gone though, we correctly move at the expected speed. Now we're not going to go through every single option, but as you can probably read in the background, there's a lot of different buffs and debuffs that can be applied using this new method. We can track things such as whether the player is just rooted, which is a specific type of crowd control just like a stun is, except for it only stops your movement. It will still allow you to shoot and use some abilities, whereas a full stun won't allow you to use anything. Let's play around with some health stuff next. To start, let's get some shields and armor. As we can see now, we have 100 of each. Walking over to the damage pad, we're taking damage from shields first, and then eventually we're going into armor, and then finally health. This demo place is mirroring Overwatch's system where armor actually reduces the amount of damage you take by a bit, which is why you didn't see it go down in clean 50 increments. Shield regeneration is enabled as well as health regeneration, which is why you're seeing these two values heal up. Health will go first and then armor will go second as it's counted as a part of health. However, shield is separate from all of these, which is why it's regenerating on its own. The new player manager allows me to adjust these however I see fit, such as the amount that they should regenerate at and if they should regenerate at all. Now let's try some of the other buffs and debuffs with this. Let's put on anti-heal, which will stop us from healing. We'll take some damage and then wait to see if our health regens. We can see that it doesn't. We can also try and use the healing pad to heal ourselves up. And as expected, we're not regenerating any health at all. Another benefit of having this player manager is it will allow me to make all kinds of interesting new abilities for Battlegrounds going forward in the future. I am very excited for it to be finished as there's so many things I want to do that I couldn't do before because I didn't have this. Let's try one more. Let's turn on Invincible and walk over all of the dangerous things here. We'll start off by going towards the damage pads and you'll notice, as expected, we're not taking any damage. Now let's go over to these debuffs and when walking over them, we're not getting stunned, we're not getting rooted, none of them are working. There's many more interactions here, but I could be here all day if I was going to go through them all, but these are just a small preview of the new features coming soon. There are many more things in the works, including a new class, and other things that I've intentionally left out of this video for another time. I'm looking forward to sharing more things in the future, so keep an eye out. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.